I just kind of wanted to quickly, no need to say too much about anything. I'm sure they'll come up again and again, but just run through the other things in the DC extended universe.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
So first is Man of Steel.
I despise Man of Steel.
Me too.
Never seen it. Probably don't want to.
I think it's one of the ugliest movies ever made with like a real budget. It's all shaky cam. It's all like shitty zooms, frequently seemingly in post. Its color palette is disgusting. It has a terrible depiction of Superman that like doesn't make any sense even of itself, because his dad's just like an asshole for some reason, but it's not depicted like that. And I don't know. I've despised that movies for years. I distinctly remember turning to a friend of mine or whatever at high school, I guess that was, when that came out in theaters. I turned to him and just said, I think that's one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, all right. So moving on, Batman v Superman, kind of more of the same.
It's less ugly. There's more static shots. The color palette's less bad. It's because it's I don't know if it was who shot Man of Steel. Might have been the same guy. I might just be wrong. But Larry Fong did Batman v Superman, who's a very good cinematographer. It's just that movie's a fucking mess, and the regular cut doesn't make any sense. But the director's cut makes it make sense, but it's still just like long and mostly disinteresting outside of a couple scenes.
And that was the first Snyder cut.
Oh yes,
the universe.
Well, that's a traditional director's cut as opposed to
right, where it added a couple scenes instead of the runtime of an entirely new movie.
Yeah, Batman v Superman, I will say Lex Luthor is not a good portrayal of him, but his theme is amazing.
Oh, it's great. Some of the Chunky XL tracks in there are like crazy. And I like that fight scene where Batman fucks those people up in a warehouse. It's pretty cool.
And then the infamous Suicide Squad. It's terrible. I don't know if we need to dwell on that too long.
For some reason, I just can't build hate for it like I did with Man of Steel. It's poor in most ways, but for some reason, it just doesn't like hit me the same way.
I agree with that.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, it sucks and it's bad, but I kind of enjoyed myself, to be honest.
It's just like
whatever.
Yeah, it's just such schlock. It's whatever.
Yeah, it didn't make me go. I didn't like regret watching it. Very excited for the new one though.
Oh yes, the James Gunn
Suicide Squad. Yes, because that looks insane.
Yeah, it looks absolutely out of its mind. I'm excited.
So then, Wonder Woman.
Pretty good. Struggles towards the end. The big final conflict is pretty not good.
Yeah, that's just a nightmare of CGI garbage flying around, which is not great.
But the sequence where she like goes across the no man's land in World War One,
that's awesome.
Is the best this universe has been.
Yeah,
besides Aquaman.
Well, yeah. But I don't know. But yeah, the first Wonder Woman is just super endearing and super genuine, and it makes you feel things. Like, I actually really connected with her relationship with
Steve Trevor.
Yeah, it's just cute. It's nice. It's a good movie.
And the next is Aquaman, which we'll skip past because we already talked about it. It's the best. And awesome. Then it's Shazam.
A flat nothing, like 5 out of 10.
Shockingly overrated.
Overhyped. Like, it's not very funny at all.
A tonal mess.
Oh, yeah. People talked about it like it was like, oh, there's personality in this, and like it feels like an older superhero movie. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. It's like super digital. It doesn't look very good. It becomes a weird group, like, fan service thing at the end, like they all do.
Out of nowhere.
Where it's just, all of the people he ever met are all now Marvel family characters. They all have superpowers now. We just have
Marvel?
A big... Captain Marvel. The Marvel... What?
Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun.
His name's Captain Marvel.
You didn't know? Evan doesn't know anything. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't know comic books, man.
Yeah, okay.
I thought we were talking about DC.
You're better off like that.
Yeah, Shazam's real name is Captain Marvel, and other people are the Marvel family, and it just becomes that at the end, so it loses any of that like super focused lower budgetness.
I remember them being I remember them turning into the super family, but
yeah,
I guess I just okay.
Yeah, but that movie, it's just whiplash back and forth between being too dark and being just like non-consequential. Bleh. And David Sandberg, his movies, I don't like them. I don't like him as a director.
No, he just kind of makes stuff that makes me feel empty.
Well, he has one of the craziest origin stories for a director, which is that he just made a horror short film on YouTube that some producer saw and went, "Hey man, that's cool. Do you want to like work on this?" And then he made it into a feature, which is Lights Out. And then he went on from there. But it's crazy. That's not something that ever happens.
No, dream life that he is leading. Unfortunately, I just can't deal with his content.
Okay, so then next is Birds of Prey, which I think is perfectly fine.
Rock solid, functional entertainment.
Ewan McGregor's just hamming it up, which is always great.
That screenwriter is like only has like 2 movies, but they form such a like, oh, you clearly wrote both of these, because they also wrote Bumblebee, and it has like the same structural messiness and like weird third act. They're like exactly the same screenplay.
Oh yeah, the third act of Birds of Prey is just a fucking like what?
Yeah, no, they're messy in like the exact same way. It's like fascinating. You can tell that it's written by the same person at approximately the same time. And in Black Bumblebee, I like it. I think it's super fun. It's just not great. I liked some of the weird hyper-violence it occasionally has.
I was shocked at some of that violence.
I don't know. It's interesting because that movie's like the biggest financial failure in like the clump.
Well, yeah, because they for whatever reason felt it necessary to tack on Birds of Prey, even though A, that's not a draw for people to watch the movie, it's Harley Quinn, and B, they're barely in the movie.
Yeah, it does not do a good job selling them at all.
Why didn't you just call it a Harley Quinn movie?
Yeah, that was bad, and then they course corrected after the movie came out, which was stupid. But after that brings us to the last movie before the Snyder Cut, which is, of course, Wonder Woman 84.
It's kind of awful. It's kind of bad. It's not the worst, but it's bad.
It's cute sometimes. Why does she rape that guy?
Pedro Pascal is really enjoyable, and he's having a lot of fun, and he's like the best part of the movie, but past that, it's like nonsensical garbage.
And yeah, he's fun. He actually has some fun like sequences of just being doing weird stuff, and there's one campily entertaining like action thing at the beginning, and like a really stupid kind of entertaining action thing in the middle, but there was just like no action.
Yeah, the opening scene where Wonder Woman subdues petty jewelry thieves at a mall is kind of fun, and it has a lot of the same tone as the first movie had, but then that's just lost completely.
Yeah. It kind of is just like a weird love child of Superman 3 and Batman Forever.
Yes.
In terms of story and structure and everything, including tone.
It's just equal parts, those two movies. Yeah. Just straight up.
Yeah, it's fascinating that it's just those 2 movies.
It's boring.
Yeah.
Yes.
It drags so much in places.
It's like weird enough in places that like I wish I liked it more, but it's like not.
Oh,
good.
Me too. I'm in the same camp as I do wish it was better, but it's just not.
Yeah, it theoretically a well done movie that has like the the tone of a Richard Donner Superman. Like, that's something I theoretically want, but then both Wonder Woman and Shazam, who are kind of going for like a throwback kind of feel, just kind of
don't
fall
achieve
flat
it.
on their face. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually rewatched Richard Donner's Superman like the other day, and which reminded me of two things. One, the TV I have in my bedroom is very bad. Two, it's just such a pleasant, good movie. Like, it just tells a clean, good story, and like just a clean, good story, and it doesn't have a big punch up at the end, and it's like good without it. And the sequel has a big dumb punch up at the end, and it's good with it. So Richard Donner could do both.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we even went back to the beginnings of DC film.